Welcome to SHN Sports and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. We are back here live, Georgetown High School, Eagle Field, for tonight's ball game of Game 2, the matchup between your Georgetown Eagles and the Elgin Wildcats. Tuesday night affair over in Elgin. Your Georgetown Eagles victorious 7-3 over the Wildcats, and coming tonight in sole first place of District 23 standings at 10-10 and 1 overall, but more importantly 5-0 in district play. I'm Wally Harmon here tonight with the call of the ball game, and in support is my wife Jerry Ann running the show in the background. We bring you Georgetown High School baseball. The conclusion of week 3 of district play. The Eagles trying to stay undefeated in district play. We're live here in the S, brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including the handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com in MLS 464-148. Eagle Field, 323 down the lines, 385 to the power alleys, 400 feet straight away dead center field. Beautiful signs of many baseball sponsors here in Georgetown, along with the beautiful adorned 2022 5A state champion signs signed just outside the right center field fence. Congratulations, Georgetown. You're defending and reigning 5A Division baseball champions. Head coach Jordan Vieira brings his Georgetown Eagles in ready to roll against these Elgin Wildcats. The Wildcats 8-10 and 1 on the year, 3-2 in district play. They are coached by Jason Bourgeois and varsity assistant Sean Luna. From Elgin High School, you have the superintendent, Dr. Jana Reuter, principal Ricardo Reyes, athletic director Jans Anderson, athletic coordinator Heath Clausen, athletic trainers Isabel Cuellar and Justin Garza. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. We specialize in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. Visit us, 9400 Brown Lane at Austin, Texas, or visit the website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. G-Town Lumber and Supply brings you tonight's starting lineups, starting with the visiting Elgin Wildcats. They will go this way, as selected by head coach Jason Bourgeois. Leading it off, playing second base, number 11, Luke Gomez. Batting second in right field, number 21, Austin Miller. Batting third in center field, number 5, Justin Strong. Batting fourth, a shortstop, number 20, Nathan Lewis. Batting fifth and catching, number 22, Alex Gamez. Batting sixth, left fielder, number 30, Jackson Cloudus, I apologize. Number 7, batting seventh, the pitcher, number 3, Jack Grames. Batting eighth, the first baseman, number 19, Joaquin Rodriguez. And batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 8, Fernando Ramirez. So you'll have Jack Grames, the pitcher for tonight for the Elgin Wildcats, to start things off against your Georgetown Eagles. The G-Town Lumber and Supply starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles, as selected by head coach Jordan Vieira. His assistant coaches, Chad Payne, David Durrell, and Mike Cockrell. Athletic trainer, Avery Mann, Stat Girl, Grace King, Carter Campbell, Nicole Witt, and Ruby Hellman. The Eagles will go this way for tonight's home ball game against the Elgin Wildcats. Leading it off, playing center field, number 17, Devin Peterson. Batting second at shortstop, the senior number 2, Eli Hellman. Batting third and playing third base, the senior number 4, Brady Peters. Batting fourth and on the mound to start the ball game, number 21, that's Riley Leiniger. Batting fifth and playing left field, number 10, he is Andrew Nations. Batting sixth, the second baseman, they also call him Mighty Mite, number 20, Talon Ball. Batting seventh, playing first base, the super sophomore, number 18, David Fluitt. Batting eighth and catching behind the plate, number 7, Chance Pernica. And in right field, the number 8, the senior, Jacob Faltasak. So you'll have Peterson, Hellman, and Peters in the top third of the lineup. Leiniger, Nations, and Ball the middle third for your Eagles, and Fluitt, Pernica, and Faltasak in the bottom third of the lineup for your Eagles. Jared Frimmel joins the rest of the Eagle lineup down on the third base line, and we prepare for tonight's national anthem. Please join us here on SHN. Back here live at Eagle Field, Georgetown Eagles getting ready to take on the Elgin Wildcats in Division 23 baseball. Hopefully you enjoyed my humming of the national anthem there. Just realized I never muted my microphone. But it's one thing that I love to do and proud to be an American. But more importantly, thank you to our men and women in uniform that are serving here and around the world to protect our freedoms and our safety here back in the United States, and especially to our first responders as they serve our communities each and every night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And special shout out tonight to my broadcast partners in the year of sports here at Georgetown High School. Dave England on the road tonight, headed to Magnolia, Arkansas, to bury one of his sisters, and our condolences and prayers with the England family in the loss of Dave's sister, Natalie England. Beautiful ceremony today as we went and celebrated her life with the England family, and just best wishes and prayers for comfort and as they go through this time burying their sister, Natalie England. And especially reach out to our buddy, partner in crime as well, in Kelly Duvall, as he's on the road in Houston with his mother visiting his terminally ill brother. And so our prayers and thoughts go to both my broadcast partners as they are on the road with family in a time of just questionable times for them and struggles in the family. We pray for them and their comfort. But we now turn it to Georgetown Eagle baseball. Defensively for your Eagles, Nations in left, Peterson in center, Faltasek in right field. Amongst the infielders, Brady Peters at third base, Hellman back at shortstop tonight, Talonball at second, David Flewitt down at first base, and now Riley Leiniger on the mound with his battery component Chance Pernica behind the plate, and he'll face off against the first hitter in the Elgin Wildcat lineup. That'll be Luke Gomez. The first inning brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. And the first pitch of the ballgame from the right-handed hurler, Leiniger on the way, and down the middle of the zone for a called strike. The Eagles get it started off here in District 23 play. Other games amongst District 23 opponents will bring you here in just a moment, as battle being done across the area in baseball action tonight. Second pitch grounded down the third baseline, but it is foul. And now quickly behind in the count is Luke Gomez. No balls and 2 strikes. Leiniger, junior right-hander, works from the first base side of the rubber in the windup to start the ball game. Leiniger with the look in, gets the sign from Pernica from the windup. The 0-2 pitch, and it's up high for ball 1. 1-2 the count to Luke Gomez, the second baseman for the Elgin Wildcats. Other action tonight, District 23, Pflugerville on the road to take on Eastview. And that is incorrect. That's Bastrop on the road. Called strike 3. What a job there by Riley Leiniger. He gets Gomez looking at strike 3 for the first strikeout of the ball game. Gomez retired on strikes for out number 1, and that'll bring up the second hitter in the Elgin Wildcat lineup, the right fielder, number 21, Austin Miller, to step in. Elgin is here on the at Georgetown tonight. Bastrop at Eastview, Cedar Creek at Conley, and Pflugerville and Henderson in District 23 play. Leiniger from the windup. The first pitch, ground ball hit out towards short. Hellman scoops it up. The throw across the diamond in time. Over to Flewitt at first base for out number 2, 6-3 in the book. And what a job there. One pitch and another out for the Wildcats here in the top of the first. 2 down, and it'll bring up the number 3 hitter, the center fielder, number 5, Justin Strong. Strong steps in from the left side for the Wildcats here with the bases empty. And 2 outs here early in the ball game. Strong on the night, the other night for the Elgin Wildcats. 0 for 3 in the ball game with the base on balls. First pitch is up and in for ball 1. Riley Leiniger, the junior, starting it out on the mound. The Eagles in a 3-man rotation on the mound, 4 starters, and Leiniger, one of those 3. The 1-0 pitch up high gets past Pernica to the backstop. 1-1 the count. Or 2-0 the count to Justin Strong with Nathan Lewis, the shortstop, on deck for the Wildcats. Leiniger from the windup. The 2-0 pitch misses just low for ball 3. So the first 3-0 count of the ball game for Leiniger comes to Justin Strong here in the top of the first with 2 outs and the bases empty. The 3-0 pitch right down Main Street for a called strike. 3 balls, 1 strike the count now to the center fielder, Justin Strong. Leiniger looks in, gets the sign from Pernica. The 3-1 pitch and a ball sent into right field for a base hit. Faltasek will field it on a hop and get it into Hellman at second base. But a 2-out single by Justin Strong keeps the Wildcat half of the first going. First hit of the ball game for the Wildcats. And that will bring up the shortstop, number 20, Nathan Lewis. He'll step in from the right side. Elementary night here tonight at Eagle Field. Fans full of future Eagles, and many students here with the LED boomsticks. Leininger from the stretch, the first pitch down into the turf, blocked there by Pernica. 1-0 the count to Nathan Lewis as Strong stays put at first base. 1-0 the count with 2 outs here in the top of the first. The runner on first base. If you're just joining us, the strikeout looking to start the ball game to Luke Gomez, and then a ground out by Austin Miller to the shortstop helmet. And now a base hit by Strong has us here. The 1-0 pitch to Lewis, and a ball popped up down the right field line. Faltasek will give chase into foul territory, and he will not be able to make the catch before the fence as he crashes into the fence. And so Nathan Lewis will stay alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 1 strike. So in the crowd, Mike, you'll hear some of our elementary students as they are getting things going here early on for their hometown Eagles. A lot of youngsters in the stands tonight. Beautiful night for elementary night. Beautiful night for baseball here in Georgetown, Texas. A little bit of a north wind blowing from left to right field. The Eagles, the home team tonight, in the home whites with the blue pinstripes. As Leininger comes set from the stretch. A look at first. Strong starts to take over. The throw over to first. They've got to get him in a pickle. Fluid drops it, but he got it back. He throws it to Hellman at short, and he'll run Strong down, tag him out, and the Eagles get out of trouble. What a job there by Riley Leininger to pick off Justin Strong on the base pass. He got a little bit of a jump. Thought he was reading Leininger. And it will go 1-3-6 on the caught stealing, the pickoff. And the top of the first comes to an end in order for the Wildcats. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base after half an inning. Elgin 0, your Eagles coming up to bat. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. Back here live at Eagle Field against the Elgin Wildcats. We go to the bottom of the first, and you'll see for the Eagles, Peterson, Hellman, and Peters to start the ball game against the left-handed throwing Jack Grames for the Elgin Wildcats. Matt Morrow brings you first inning action and brings you the SHN broadcast booth. Borrow from Morrow, Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including the handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. Matt Morrow, proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle baseball, and he brings you first inning action here. The Eagles get out of the 2-out single by Justin Strong on a beautiful pickoff by Riley Leininger. 1-3-6 on the play. Leininger threw it over to Fluid. He gets it to Hellman, and Hellman runs down Strong in the pickle for the pickoff to end the top of the first. The first pitch to Peterson. Peterson swinging, hits it up the middle. Second baseman ranges over to make the play, throws to first base just in time to retire Peterson at first base for out number 1. 4-3 on the putout to retire Peterson, and that'll bring up the shortstop, number 2, Eli Hellman. Hellman was not with the team, out ill on Tuesday night, back in his regular batting spot in the lineup here lately in the number 2 slot, and back at shortstop for the Eagles. The left-handed Grames from the windup. First pitch misses low and in for ball 1 to Eli Hellman. Gomez with the clean play there at second base, over towards the bag to retire Peterson on the 4-3 putout. Grames from the windup, the 1-0 pitch On the outside corner, called strike one, and Eli now with a 1-1 count here in the bottom of the first inning. Graham's ready to rock and roll. The 1-1 pitch, and a ball hit down the third baseline. A backhand in fair territory by the third baseman. He'll make the throw across the diamond in time, just in time, to retire Eli Harmon. Nice play there by Bryce Barron, the third baseman. It's 5-3 on the putout to record the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Brady Peters, the senior third baseman for your Georgetown Eagles. He wears number 4. He'll step in from the right side with 2 outs and the base is empty here in the bottom of the first inning. Grames works from the third base side of the rubber from the windup. The first pitch to Peters and is in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Brady Peters. Peters comes into the ball game at .357 batting average on the year. Takes the 0-1 pitch for a ball. 1-1 the count. .357 on the season. In district play, Peters has a .444 batting average. The 1-1 pitch, Peters lays off and takes it for a called strike. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes to the senior third baseman. On deck for the Eagles, the pitcher, number 21, Riley Leininger. Should Peters extend the inning. The 1-2 pitch, ground ball hit out to short, a high hopper. Nathan Lewis takes it on the second hop. The throw across the diamond in time. And the Eagles go down in order here in the bottom of the first. 6-3 on the putout to record out number 3. And after 1 complete inning, we are still scoreless, 0-0. Back with inning number 2 on SHN here in just a moment. To the top of the second inning, brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. GTownLumberandSupply.com. Proud sponsors of Eagle Baseball bring you inning number 2. We go to the top of the second, and Nathan Lewis will step back in. The 4, 5, 6 hitters due up here for the Wildcats. The first pitch from Leininger, low and outside for ball 1. Count starts new to Nathan Lewis as he was at bat when Strong was picked off first base. So Leininger will face off against Lewis here to start the second. 1-0 pitch. Misses just low on the breaking ball. 2-0 now the count to Nathan Lewis, the shortstop. 4, 5, and 6 due up. Lewis, Gamez, and Cloudis for the Wildcats. Leininger from the windup. The 2-0 pitch. A ball hit into center field, a shallow ball, and that'll fall in front of Peterson for a base hit. Second hit of the ball game for the Wildcats. So Nathan Lewis will start it off with a leadoff single. Leininger threw 12 pitches in the top of the first inning. And now moves to the stretch to face off against the catcher, number 22, Alex Gamez. Here in the top of the second with the leadoff man at first base, Nathan Lewis. Lewis gets the lead off first base, being held on by David Fluid. Leininger looks over at first, now comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to Gamez, swinging into center field. And a nice shot there, and it's going to be over the head of Peterson. He'll track it down on a hop behind his back, and he'll throw it in there. Lewis is going to be waved around. Hellman's going to throw it to home, and bam! Get him bound! What a play by Peterson, Hellman, and Pernica. Nathan Lewis tried to steal a run all the way from first base, and he's stolen out from his Wildcat team as he was sent by Coach Bourgeois and nailed at home plate. What a play by your Eagle defense to cut the run at home. What a play. Devin Peterson to take off on the run on a hop, reaches up and grabs it, turns around and fires a shot to Eli Hellman. He relays it to home to Pernica And they get Nathan Lewis at home. Courtesy running for the catcher Games will be Omar Palacios for the Wildcats at second base. So it'll be a single by Games. Advances to second on the throw home. Palacios leads off there with one out. In steps Jackson Cloudis, the left fielder. A long look at second. Now Leininger will turn back to second and throw to Hellman. Palacios slides back in safely. Man, what a play to start the second inning. Devin Peterson, Eli Hellman to Pernica for the 8-6-2 putout of Nathan Lewis at home to cut the run down, and we stay scoreless. Leininger comes set. The first pitch to Cloudis. Breaking pitch across the plate for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Cloudis. Third hit of the ball game by Games there, the single. Palacios running down at second as he advanced to second on the throw. Leininger comes set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch, breaking pitch in there. Beautiful pitch by Leininger. Now a 0-2 count to Jackson Cloudis, the left fielder. On deck for the Elgin Wildcats is the pitcher, Jack Grames. Palacios, the courtesy runner for the catcher, Games, leads off second base. The 0-2 pitch, a swing and a miss, strike three. And Pernica will tag out Cloudis for out number 2. Second strikeout of the ball game recorded by Riley Leininger. And Jack Grames, the pitcher, will step in from the left side. Wears number 3 with 2 outs and a runner at second base for the Wildcats. Leininger from the stretch, working from the first base side of the rubber. Comes set in the stretch. He'll take a peek back at Palacios at second base. And now the first pitch to Grames is up high, gets off the glove of Pernica, and it'll get all the way to the backstop, and that'll allow Palacios to move up to third base on the pass ball. 1-0 the count to Grames. And the Wildcats have the runner at third base with 2 outs. To know the count. Leininger from the windup. The 1-0 pitch in there on the inside part of the plate for a called strike. 1-1 now the count to Jack Grames. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the second. Palacios, the runner down at third. Leininger from the windup. The 1-1 pitch fouled off back to the screen for strike 2. And now Leininger ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes on his counterpart, number 3, Jack Grames, the pitcher for the Wildcats. Grames back in from the left side. Ready to go. Leininger a look in, gets the sign. From the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Just misses outside for ball 2. Count runs even now, 2-2. On deck, the first baseman, Joaquin Rodriguez for the Wildcats. Leininger from the windup, the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards second. Talon ball, readies for it, takes it, throws the first in time for out number 3. 4-3 on the putout, and the Eagles get out of trouble here in the top half of the second thanks to a beautiful defensive play. Peterson to Hellman to Pernica to cut the run down at home to get the out. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base after an inning and a half. 0-0 your score. More Eagle baseball in a minute here on SHN. Back here in the middle of the second inning, G-Town Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. We specialize in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. Visit us 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit our website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. G-Town Lumber and Supply brings you second inning action of Georgetown Eagle baseball as we go to the bottom of the second inning. The Eagles will bring up the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Eagle lineup. Leininger, Nations, and ball. Riley Leininger, the pitcher tonight, wears number 21, the right-handed arm, but the batter from the left side steps in against the left-handed throwing Grames for the Wildcats. Grames from the windup. The lefty-lefty matchup here to start the bottom of the second. The first pitch misses outside, ball one to Riley Leininger. Grames looks in, gets the sign from Gamez, and now from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball catches the inside corner for strike one. 1-1 the count to Leininger. The 1-1 pitch. Leininger takes a hack, pops it up down the third base line. Nathan Lewis gives chase, and he'll make the catch. The third baseman, Barron, thought he had a beat on it. Nathan Lewis came from behind and made the catch sliding into foul territory. And Leininger pops out to the shortstop for out number one here in the bottom of the second. P6 in the book, and that'll bring up the left-handed hitting left fielder, number 10, Andrew Nations. A long run there by Nathan Lewis from the shortstop position to make the catch in foul territory. Nice play there by the shortstop Lewis. So one out here in the bottom of the second. The first pitch to Nations misses low for a ball. 1-0 the count. Talon Ball, the second baseman, on deck for your Eagles. Grames gets the sign, the 1-0 pitch. Big Bender misses inside for ball two. Got the corner against Leininger and got the strike on that same pitch. Misses it here against Nations. And now a 2-0 count to Andrew Nations. The 2-0 pitch misses, catches the outside corner. Called strike is a 2-1 count now to Andrew Nations. Grames gets the sign. The 2-1 pitch to Nations. That one misses low for ball three, and now a 3-1 count to the left fielder. Only 8 pitches thrown in the top of the bottom of the first by Grames. The 3-1 pitch to Nations, and Nations will foul it back out of play, and the count runs full now. Two Nations with one out here in the bottom of the second. The base is empty. Eagles looking for their first base runner of the ball game. Here in the bottom of the second, Grames gets the sign. Now he'll step off. Regather. Nations will step out. Now back in the box from the left side. The payoff pitch. And Nations will fist it out into left field. Lewis gives chase, lays out, makes another beautiful catch. The shortstop, Nathan Lewis, makes the catch for out number two. L6 in the book. Retires Andrew Nations, and that'll bring up the right-handed hitting second baseman, number 20, Talon Ball. Talon Ball had himself a ball game against Elgin on Tuesday night. He had 3 RBIs for the Eagles. He reached on a fielder's choice, grounded out, and then hit a 2-run bomb for the Eagles. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. 0-1 the count to the second baseman, Talon Ball. David Fluid on deck. Should Ball extend the inning. The 0-1 pitch, and that one's down in the turf for a ball. 1-1 now the count. Talon Ball received word last night during the coaches show. Coach Vieira shared it with us on an elite team picked by the top wrestlers at state this year. He finished third in state in 5A in his weight class. Takes this one low and outside for ball two. 2-1 now the count to Talon Ball, but named to the Max Elite 5A wrestling team. And man, what an accomplishment for another multi-sport athlete here at Georgetown High School. Ball back in the box from the right side. 2-1 the count from Grames. A long look in. Now Grames from the windup. The 2-1 pitch. And Talon Ball swings and knocks it down the third baseline. Grames will field it, throw across, and not in time. What a hustle on the infield single by Talon Ball as he beat it out. Grames off the mound, fields it, but has to spin all the way around and make the left-handed throw. And a 2-out infield single by Talon Ball keeps the inning alive, and that'll bring up the sophomore first baseman, David Fluid, here in the bottom of the second inning. First hit of the ball game for the Eagles. They'll take their first base runner any way they can get it here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Fluid, the sophomore, number 18 in the uniform, steps in from the left side. Grames moves to the stretch for the first time in the ball game. A big lead by Ball, but he easily gets back there as he read the move by Grames. Back in at first standing. Joaquin Rodriguez will hold on ball at first. The first pitch to Fluid misses low and outside down in the turf for ball one. Fluid went 4 2/3 innings on Tuesday night against the Elgin Wildcats. 4 coming out, allowed 3 hits, struck out 4, walked 3. Ball to huge lead off first base, a throw over and back in easily standing there with the throw over from Grames. 1 ball, no strikes to count to Fluid with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The 1-0 pitch. Fluid fouls it off back to the screen and evens out the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Chance Pernica, the catcher, on deck for the Eagles. Should Fluid be able to extend the inning here for the Eagles. Grames a look in, gets the sign and comes set. Ball leads off first. The 1-1 pitch, ground ball. Now goes into foul territory. 4 strike 2, 1-2 now the count to David Fluid. Here in the bottom of the second. 2 outs with the runner on first. An infield single by Talon Ball as he beat it out. Now he'll lead off first base with Rodriguez holding him on a big lead. 4 ball. The 1-2 pitch, and Fluid sends it into left field. The left fielder, Cloudis, comes in and makes the catch for out number 3. And the Eagles are retired here in the bottom of the second. F7 in the book for out number 3. And the Eagles go down, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base here in inning number 2. After 2 complete innings, 0-0 your score. Georgetown and Elgin tied up after 2 complete. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. The Wildcats will bring up the 8-9-1 hitters, Joaquin Rodriguez, Fernando Ramirez, and Luke Gomez, due up here against Leininger on in his 3rd inning of work. First pitch, outside corner, called strike 1 to Joaquin Rodriguez, the first baseman. 0-1 the count. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, brings you the 3rd inning of Eagle baseball. The 0-1 pitch fouled off back at home plate off of himself. And 0-2 the count to Rodriguez now. Rodriguez, number 19, the first baseman for the Wildcats here tonight, steps in from the right side. Leininger way ahead, 0-2 the count. The 0-2 pitch, ground ball hit out towards short. Hellman will charge it, make the fielding play, throws across the diamond in plenty of time to record the out. For out number 1 here in inning number 3. 6-3 on the putout. To retire Rodriguez, and that'll bring up the DH, number 8, Fernando Ramirez. He'll step in from the right side as well. For the Wildcats, the number 9 hitter in the Wildcat lineup. Leininger from the windup. Gets the sign from Pernica. The first pitch to Ramirez. In there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. Ramirez back in. He squares the bunt. The 0-1 pitch. Across the plate for a called strike. 0-2 the count now. Leininger ready to go. The 0-2 pitch. Misses low and outside into the turf for ball 1. 1-2 now the count. To the number 9 hitter in the Wildcat lineup, the DH, Fernando Ramirez. Luke Gomez, the leadoff batter, on deck for the Wildcats. Leininger ready to go. The 1-2 pitch. Misses just low for ball 2. 2-2 now the count. To Ramirez. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards second. Talon Ball makes the play over to Fluid for out number 2. 4-3 on the putout to retire Ramirez. And that'll take us back to the top of the Wildcat lineup to Luke Gomez, the second baseman. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Led the game off, striking out. And the looking variety steps in here, 0 for 1 in the ball game with 2 outs and the base is empty here in the top of the third. Leininger from the windup. The first pitch to Gomez. Misses just high for ball 1. Gomez back in from the right side. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking pitch. Misses just low for ball 2. 2-1 the count. Riley Leininger, the 2-0 pitch. Sails high, ball 3. 3-0 the count now to Luke Gomez. The right fielder, Austin Miller, on deck for the Wildcats. Leininger will look in. Gets the sign from Pernica. The 3-0 pitch. Right down the pipe for a called strike. 3-1 now the count to Luke Gomez. The 3-1 pitch, low and outside, ball 4, and a 2-out walk. Gets Gomez down to first base. The first walk issued in the ball game by Leininger. That'll bring up Austin Miller. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Right fielder for the Wildcats, grounded out to the shortstop, Hellman. Back in the first inning, steps in here with 2 outs and a runner on first in the top half of inning number 3. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Wildcats. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Eagles. Gomez will lead off first. Fluid holds him on. Leininger, the first pitch to Miller. Ground ball hit out towards third. Peters cuts it off. The throw across the diamond is a bad one. It got away there. Fluid unable to make a play. And so an E5 there will allow Miller to reach base. And as it got away from Fluid, it went up the baseline. Faltasek doing a great job of backing up there. But both runners advance. And so now runners at second and third. For the Eagles, Gomez advances all the way to third on the error. Miller reaches on the error and gets to second. So the first error of the ball game for either team. And now center fielder Justin Strong steps in, 1 for 1 in the ball game. First pitch to him, up and in, ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Runners on second and third. Leininger looks in, back from the windup now with runners on the second and third base. And this one fouled off of his own foot in the box by Strong. Evens the count at it, 1 ball and 1 strike. Leininger with a long look in. Gets the sign. The 1-1 pitch. Misses high for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Justin Strong, the center fielder, with Nathan Lewis, the shortstop, on deck for the Wildcats. The 2-1 pitch from Leininger. Low and outside, ball 3. Now a 3-1 count to Justin Strong, the center fielder. 1 for 1 in the ball game. Reached on a 2-out single, but then was picked off on a 1-3-6 pickoff to retire the top of the first for the Wildcats. The 3-1 pitch from Leininger. Fouled off back to the screen, and now a full count to the center fielder, Justin Strong. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the third. Runners on second and third. The payoff pitch. And this is just up and away, ball 4. A 2-out walk to Strong. Loads the bases full of Wildcats. And that'll bring up Nathan Lewis, a shortstop. He singled to lead off the second, but was taken out at home plate. So he tried to score from first base on a single by the catcher Gamez and was caught at home on a 8-6-2 relay. First pitch to Lewis, in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. to Lewis. 1 for 1 in the night with that single. Leininger still in the windup with the bases loaded. Gets the sign. The 0-1 pitch to Lewis. Outside corner. Called strike 2. 0-2 the count now to the shortstop, Nathan Lewis. Tell you what, Nathan Lewis wasted no time after being thrown out at home. Stepping up his play on the defensive end with 2 beautiful plays in the defensive side for the Wildcats. The 0-2 pitch, breaking pitch. Wow, not sure where it missed, but it did for a ball 1. Coach Vieira not happy with that one. 1-2 now the count to Lewis. Leininger gets the sign from Pernica. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking pitch and out towards short. Hellman will backhand it. He'll have to go across the diamond to throw in time. What a play! The Eagles get out of a bases loaded jam here in the bottom of the 3rd. Thanks to a beautiful play by Eli Hellman. Throwing across the diamond, 6-3 on the putout to record Lewis for out number 3. The Wildcats, no runs on no hits, 1 error, and 3 runners left on base after 2.5. 0-0 still your score. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. We move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Eagles will bring up the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Pernica, Faltasek, and Peterson. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown. Edward Jones, financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. Another proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Baseball. Georgetown Baseball would like to thank all the elementary students and their families for joining us tonight to cheer on the Georgetown Eagles. We also want to thank Georgetown Interstate Transmission and Auto Repair for sponsoring Elementary Night and providing these light-up thunder sticks for the crowd. Elementary Night live in full effect here at Eagle Field. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Chance Pernica steps in against Grames. First pitch swinging, pops it up left side of the infield. The third baseman, Barron, calls for it. But Nathan Lewis comes over and stands right in front of him and takes it right behind third base. And so a little discussion there between Lewis and Barron. As Nathan Lewis playing 5-6 position right now makes the catch for out number 1, P6 in the book, to retire Pernica. And that'll bring up Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder. Pernica will step in from the right side. With 1 out, the base is empty here in the bottom of the 3rd. The first pitch from Grames is in there for a called strike to Pernica. 0-1 to Faltasek. 0-1 the count. Faltasek had a 2 RBI single in the game on Tuesday night. Was 1 for 3 on the night. The 0-1 pitch stays way outside for ball 1. Evens up the count now. 1-1 to Jacob Faltasek. Here in the bottom half of the 3rd, the Eagles scoreless against the Wildcats here in the 3rd inning of game 2 between these two teams. Grames from the windup. The 1-1 pitch sent into shallow left field, and it's going to fall for a base hit. Faltasek will round first and return. A 1-out single to left field by Faltasek will get us back to the top of the Eagle lineup. Just the second hit of the ball game for the Eagles. Now that'll bring up Devin Peterson. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Grounded out to second base in inning number 1. Steps in here for his second time around to face off against Grames and the Wildcat defense. Faltasek will lead off first base, held on by Rodriguez. Grames comes set. The first pitch to Peterson. Low and outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Devin Peterson with Eli Hellman on deck for the Eagles. Grames from the stretch, works from the third base side of the rubber. The 1-0 pitch, ball sent down the left field line, and it is going to be down for another base hit. Faltasek will move up to second base, but he'll hold there As the left fielder, Cloudus gets it in quickly to Lewis, but back-to-back hits have the Eagles in business here in the bottom of the third. Runners on first and second with one out. And that brings up the senior shortstop, number 2, Eli Hellman. Peterson with the third hit of the ball game for the Eagles. Faltasek moves up to second. And now Grames in some trouble himself here in the bottom of the third with runners on first and second and one out. Hellman in from the right side. Now Grames will call time and ask for the pitcher or catcher Gamez to come out for a visit. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, brings you third inning action here of Eagle Baseball. EdwardJones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more information. Gamez returns behind the plate. Grames ready to go on the mound from the stretch. Faltasek leads off second. Peterson off first. The first pitch on the outside corner, called strike for Eli Hellman. 0-1 the count to Hellman. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. A ground out to third base. Back in the first inning, steps in here with an opportunity for the Eagles to do some damage in the bottom of the third with one out and runners on first and second base. Grames a look at second, and now the 0-1 pitch to Hellman. Hellman takes it for a called strike. 0-2 now the count to the shortstop, Hellman, with Brady Peters on deck for the Eagles. Grames a long look in, gets the sign from Gamez. Now will come set, a look back at second base. Faltasek leads off there. And now a turn towards second, but Grames no throw. As Faltasek jogs back to second base. We'll reset here. Peterson leads off first, Faltasek off second. The 0-2 pitch. Hellman fouls it back out of play. Stays alive in the bat, 0-2. Here to Grames. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Wildcats through 3 at-bats. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for your Eagles. Thanks to 2 back-to-back singles here in the bottom of the third. Hellman back in from the right side. An 0-2 count now to Eli Hellman. Grames a long look in. Now Hellman will call time. Something you saw the other night when the pitchers from Elgin got into trouble with base runners on base. And the pitchers went to the stretch, they got a lot more uncomfortable. When they got into the windup, they worked at a more feverish pace, ready to go, ready to throw. And now Grames taking his time back in the stretch as he takes a long look in. Comes set now. A look back at second base. He'll step off again. A lot of attention being paid to the base runners. Faltasek at second base, Devin Peterson at first with one out here in the bottom of the third. Eli Hellman steps out. Now he'll step back in from the right side. No balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Grames, the 0-2 pitch. Hellman takes it outside. It misses for ball 1. Nice pitch there on 0-2, but just missed off the corner. And now a 1-2 count to Eli Hellman. Grames will come set from the stretch, looks back at second base. The 1-2 pitch, up high, ball 2. 2-2 now the count to Eli Hellman. Here in the bottom of the third. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out to Hellman, the shortstop. Peterson off first, Faltasek off second. Luke Gomez stays close to the bag at second. Now Grames steps off again. Grames will finally get the pitch, comes set. The 1-2 pitch, 2-2 pitch, fouled off back out of play. And Eli Hellman stays alive in the at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here, there goes the scatter of kids trying to get the foul ball. Outside behind the first base dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the third, runners on first and second. Grames comes set, a look back at second base. He'll spin towards second, a throw to second. Faltasek easily back in there as he dives in safely. The throw to Nathan Lewis covering from shortstop. A lot of attention being paid to the base runners. Now with the Eagles with 2 runners on here in the bottom of the third. The 2-2 pitch. Eli Hellman takes it high, ball 3, and now a full count. Hellman behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes to start off. And now has worked the count full with 1 out. The base runners at first and second. The payoff pitch. Hellman takes it low and inside, ball 4. The both bases are full of Eagles after 2 back-to-back singles, and now a base on balls. The first one issued by Grames. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Brady Peters. And now we'll get a visit from the Elgin Wildcat dugout. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more Eagle baseball in just a moment here on SHN. Home plate umpire ventures out to the mound to end the visit. And the coach returns to the dugout. As your Eagles putting on pressure here in the bottom of the third. Bases loaded and 1 out. Brady Peters steps in. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Is Peters. Ground out to the shortstop. Lewis back in the first inning. Steps in here with the opportunity to do some damage for the Eagles. With 1 out and the bases loaded. Grames first pitch to Peters. And he fouls it back out of play down the first base side for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Brady Peters with Riley Leinecker on deck for the Eagles. Grames back to the windup. Works from the third base side of the rubber. A look in and gets the sign. Now the 0-1 pitch to Peters. Peters fouls it off back to the screen. Quickly behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes is Brady Peters, the third baseman. No balls and 2 strikes to Peters. Grames gets the sign from the windup. The 0-2 pitch. Peters sends it into left center field, and that should be down for a base hit, and it is. That'll score Faltasek from third. Here comes Peterson all the way around from second base, and he'll score standing up. A 2 RBI single by Brady Peters gives the Eagles the early 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the third inning. What a job by the senior third baseman driving the 0-2 pitch into left center field for a 2 RBI single. Hellman moves up to second base.
Next up for the Eagles, your pitcher, number 21, Riley.
And Riley Leinecker will step in with 1 out. Runners on first and second. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. A pop out to the shortstop, Lewis. But now steps in from the left side with 2 runs on the board. The Eagles 2 runs on 3 hits here in the inning so far. Grames back to the stretch. The first pitch to Leinecker. Up and in for ball 1. Leinecker steps back in. He has Hellman down at second base. Brady Peters at first. Grames back to the stretch. The look in, gets the sign, comes set. He'll throw to second base. But Hellman dives back in safely there. On the throw back to Lewis. An opportunity for Leinecker to help himself here in the bottom of the third. He's already got 2 runs from his counterparts as Brady Peters, the 2 RBI single to score. Faltasek and Peterson gives the Eagles the first lead of the ballgame, 2-0. Grames a look back at second. The 1-0 pitch. Hellman off and running, and he'll easily steal third base. What a job there of reading the pitcher. And Hellman off and running, steals third base. The first stolen base of the night for the Eagles. Now has runners on the corners. The pitch was out for ball 2. 2-0 the count now to Riley Leinecker. Hellman swipes third base, and now you might look for Peters to take off from first base. Leinecker back in from the left side. Grames comes set. Now a throw over to first, and Brady Peters almost able to lay down and touch first base as he's back easily at first base. So Grames is going to try to keep him close. 2-0 the pitch. Misses outside, ball 3. Now a 3-0 count to Riley Leineger. Andrew Nations on deck for the Eagles. 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. 2 runs already crossed here in the bottom of the 3rd for your Eagles. Runners on the corners. Hellman leads off 3rd. Peters off 1st. The 3-0 pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Now a 3-1 count to Riley Leineger. Grames comes set. The 3-1 pitch, and Leineger pops it back out of play. And now the count runs full on Leineger. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hellman down at 3rd base. Reached on a walk, moved up to 2nd on the Peters single. And then stole 3rd base. Peters down at 1st base on the RBI, 2 RBI single. 3-2 the count to Leineger. 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Peters off on the pitch. Check swing, ground ball down the first baseline. Rodriguez will field it and step on the bag for out number 2. But that's good enough to score Hellman from 3rd base. And Peters does a good job of taking off on the pitch to avoid any chance of a double play. And an RBI ground out by Riley Leineger puts the 3rd run on the board for the Eagles. Now with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd, Andrew Nations will step in. 0 for 1 in the ball game is Nations as he lined out to the shortstop. Nathan Lewis back in the 2nd inning. Grames comes set and look back at 2nd base from the stretch. The first pitch to Nations. Swing and a miss, strike 1. And 1 the count to Andrew Nations. Here in the bottom of the 3rd, 2 outs, 3 runs across in the inning. Brady Peters down at 2nd base. 3-0 lead for your Eagles. Grames comes set and look back at 2nd. The 0-1 pitch. Nations a swing and a miss, strike 2. 0-2 now the count to the left fielder, Andrew Nations. Takes a deep breath and now back in from the left side, ready to go. Another great crowd here at Eagle Field for tonight's ball game. Now Grames will step off the mound, pick up a look back at 2nd base. Now he'll come set on the rubber. The 0-2 pitch. Low and outside, ball 1. 1-2 now the count. To the left fielder, Andrew Nations. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. The runner on scoring position down at 2nd base in Brady Peters. Grames a long look in. Now he'll come set from the stretch. Look back at 2nd base. The 1-2 pitch. And Andrew Nations down on strike, swinging for out number 3. But not before the Eagles put up 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 3 complete, the Eagles lead it 3-0 over the Elgin Wildcats. More Eagle baseball here in a minute on SHN. go to the top of the fourth inning. The Eagles put 3 on the board in the bottom of the third to take a 3-0 lead over the Wildcats. And now Riley Leininger steps back on the mound for his 4th inning of work, and he'll face off against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Wildcats, Gamez, Cloudus, and Grames. Gamez steps in. He's 1 for 1 on the night. Singled and left stranded at third base. Back in inning number 2. We'll lead things off for the Wildcats here in the 4th. The first pitch from Leininger is high for ball 1. Leininger from the windup. The 1-0 pitch to Gamez, and he'll send it into right center field. Devin Peterson will close the distance, and he'll make the catch as Faltasek backs him up there in right center field. And F8 in the book for out number 1 to retire Gamez. And that'll bring up Jackson Cloudus, the left fielder. Cloudus 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning. Steps in here with the bases empty and 1 out for the Wildcats in the top of the 4th. Leininger from the windup. The first pitch to Cloudus. Breaking ball misses for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. To the left fielder, Jackson Cloudus. The 1-0 pitch. Misses low for ball 2. 2-0 the count. To the left fielder, Cloudus. With the pitcher, Jack Grames on deck for the Wildcats. The 2-0 pitch from Leininger. And a ball fouled off, back out of play for strike 1. 2-1 now the count. Leininger ready to go. The 2-1 pitch. And that's trying to get out of the way to not be hit by the pitch, and it went off the bat for strike 2, and now a 2-2 count to Cloudus. The benefit of that one was Leininger, as that one was kind of up and in. Cloudus couldn't get the bat out of the way and fouled it off. Back to the screen, and now a 2-2 count. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch misses low and outside, ball 3, and now a full count to Cloudus. Here in the top of the 4th. Leininger to look in, gets the sign. The payoff pitch. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Cloudus down for the 2nd time of the ball game on strikes. This time, the looking variety for out number 2. 4th strikeout of the night for Leininger. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Jack Grames. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game as he grounded out to second base back in inning number 2. He steps in with 2 outs and no runners on. The first pitch is up and away, ball 1 to Jack Grames. The 1-0 pitch to Grames, outside corner called strike 1. 1-1 now the count to the Elgin pitcher. Grames, the left-handed hitter, steps back in, ready to go. The 1-1 pitch from Leininger. Ball sent down the left field line. It is curling towards the line, and it's going to land a fair. Nations will pick it up and throw it in, and that'll keep Grames at first base. A 2-out single, the 4th hit of the ball game for the Wildcats, keeps the inning alive. And that brings up the first baseman, Joaquin Rodriguez. Rodriguez 0 for 1 in the ball game. Grounded out to the shortstop, Eli Hellman. Courtesy runner on for the pitcher, Grames, is number 42, Jeremiah Harvey, down at first base. He'll lead off first base, being held on by Fluid. Leininger into the stretch. The first pitch to Rodriguez. Breaking pitch, catches the outside corner. Beautiful bender by Leininger for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Joaquin Rodriguez. The number 8 hitter in the Wildcat lineup. 2 outs and a runner on first here in the top of the 4th. Leininger gets the sign and comes set. A look over at first base. The 0-1 pitch. This one misses outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count now to Joaquin. The designated hitter, Fernando Ramirez, on deck for the Wildcats. Leininger comes set. The 1-1 pitch. The runner off. Scoop by Pernica. He'll throw down, but it's on the backside of the base. On the shortstop side of the base, and Harvey slides in safely. The first stolen base of the night for the Wildcats. Has a man in scoring position with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. 2 balls and a strike now to Joaquin Rodriguez, the first baseman. Harvey leads off second base. Leininger comes set. He'll look back at the runner. The 2-1 pitch. And that one's high for ball 3. 3-1 now the count to Rodriguez. Leininger gets the sign from Pernica. Comes set from the stretch. A look back at Harvey at second base. The 3-1 pitch. The ground ball hit out towards third. Peters will glove it. He'll just tag Harvey as he was headed to third base. And a 5 unassisted to retire Harvey ends the inning for the Wildcats. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base after 3.5 innings. 3-0 your score. Georgetown leads it over the Elgin Wildcats. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. As we move to the bottom of the 4th inning, Georgetown baseball would like to thank all the elementary students and their families for joining us tonight to cheer on the Georgetown Eagles. We also want to thank Georgetown Interstate Transmission and Auto Repair for sponsoring Elementary Night and providing these light-up thunder sticks. Thank you so much for supporting Georgetown Eagle baseball. A beautiful night for baseball and a lot of kids out here tonight. A lot of families and fans out here supporting your Georgetown Eagles. They lead it 3-0. Over the Elgin Wildcats. Graham's on for his 4th inning of work for the Wildcats, and he'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Ball, Fluid, and Pernica do up here for the Eagles. Ball steps in. First pitch on the inside corner for a called strike. Talon Ball 1 for 1 on the night. Little check swing, bounding ball, infield single that he beat out. The 0-1 pitch sliced. Just foul down the left field line. The ball way out in front of that one. Now the count 0-2 to the second baseman, Talon Ball. Graham's from the windup. Ball back in from the right side. Now Graham's ready. The 0-2 pitch. Ball will send it into center field. A base hit for Talon Ball. He'll round first base, and he'll return. The center fielder Strong gets it in just over the leaping glove of the second baseman Gomez, and now Talon Ball 2 for 2 on the night. An 0-2 single as the leadoff man aboard. 5th hit of the night for the Eagles. That'll bring up the first baseman, David Fluid. He flew out to the left fielder, Cloudus, back in the 2nd inning. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Steps in here with no outs and a runner on first. Graham's back to the stretch. Talon Ball, a big lead on first, held on by Rodriguez. Fluid squares the bunt. He'll pull it back and take it a called strike on the outside corner for a 0-1 count. Talon Ball leads off first base. 0-1 the count to Fluid. Third baseman now playing about 3 steps in on the grass at third. Graham's a look at first base. Now the throw over. And Talon Ball reading that very well. Cruises back to the back, standing up safely at first. 0-1 the count to Fluid. Back in from the left side. Graham's comes set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Fluid will take it for a called strike. 0-2 now the count. Fluitt, the lone sophomore here on the Eagle varsity team. Pretty much the anchor first baseman if he's not on the mound for your Eagles. Behind in the count, 0-2 here. Ball, big lead off first. The 0-2 pitch down into the turf. The wild pitch gets away, and Talon Ball will easily advance to second base. 1-2 now the count to Fluitt. First wild pitch of the ball game for Jack Grames. And that'll put the runner in scoring position in Talon Ball. Pernica fall to sec. The next two batters due up here in the bottom of the fourth for your Eagles. Fluitt back in from the left side. 1-2 the count. Grames looks back at second base. And now the 1-2 pitch. Down and gets away. Another wild pitch allows Talon Ball to move up to third base. And now another runner just 90 feet away for your Eagles with no outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Back-to-back wild pitches. And a 2-2 count now to the sophomore first baseman, David Fluitt. Tuesday night, Georgetown victorious over Elgin 7-3. Eastview beat Bastrop 13-3. Grames from the windup. The 2-2 pitch to Fluitt. Low and outside, ball three, and now a full count to the first baseman, David Fluitt. Started out 0-2, has worked it back full. Pflugerville upset Hendrickson 2-1, and Cedar Creek beat Conley 15-4. The payoff pitch, and Fluitt will send it into center field. Strong on the run. He'll make the catch. Talon Ball tags up, and he'll stop there. The ball way overthrown, but it gets jammed underneath. It got jammed underneath the mats at home plate, which is a dead ball, and it allows the runner to advance. So that scores Talon Ball. There's a discussion between Coach Bourgeois and the home plate umpire. So now a discussion there to see if this run will count. They're going to put him back to third base. Coach Bourgeois arguing with the home plate umpire. We'll see if they have a discussion between the two-man umpire crew. Justin Strong came up throwing from center field and sailed it high over the head of the catcher. Coach Bourgeois not happy at home plate. The home plate umpire will go out to visit with the field umpire. So we'll see how this discussion goes. F8 in the book for out number one to retire Fluitt. So we'll see how that one gets scored. The discussion continues. Fluitt flew out to center field. And here comes the home plate umpire after the discussion. Coach Bourgeois not happy, but the run will stand. So Talon Ball scores on the throw that stuck into the backstop. So the Eagles take a 4-0 lead. F8 in the book to retire Fluitt. Now to bring up the catcher, Chance Pernica, with the bases empty and one out. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Pernica steps in from the right side. Grames from the windup. The first pitch is in there for a cold strike. Oh, and 1 the count to the catcher, Chance Pernica. Grames ready to go. The 0-1 pitch. Pernica swinging a miss. Strike two. .52 pitches through 3 innings for Grames as he works here in the bottom of the fourth for the Wildcats. The 0-2 pitch just low for ball one. 1-2 now the count to Chance Pernica. Jacob Poltasek, the right fielder, on deck for the Eagles here in the bottom of the fourth with 1 out. The base is empty. Grames gets the sign from Gamez from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. That one's down in the turf for ball 2. 2-2 now the count to Chance Pernica. Wind dying down now here as the sun has set. The 2-2 pitch, and Pernica, fly ball down the left field line, but it curls out of play. He was way up in front of that one. And he stays in the at-bat, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pernica settles back in from the right side. Graham's on the mound from the first base side of the rubber. The 2-2 pitch. And Pernica fouls it off back to the screen. Stays alive in the at-bat. 2-2 the count. Pernica 0 for 1 in the ball game. Steps back in from the right side. Grames. A sign from Gamez. The 2-2 pitch to Pernica. Pernica fouls it off back to the backstop. Good quality at bat here for Pernica. The next pitch will be the 8th of the at bat to the catcher. Faltasek 1 for 1 in the ball game on deck for the Eagles. Here in the bottom of the 4th, Pernica back in, ready to go. The 2-2 pitch from Grames. And a ball slapped down the third baseline, but just foul. A nice job there by Pernica, and he continues to battle here against Grames in the bottom of the 4th. Two balls and 2 strikes to Pernica. 1 out, base is empty. Grames ready to go. Pernica ready to go as well. The 2-2 pitch. And the off-speed breaking ball catches Pernica. Called 3rd strike for out number 2. Second strikeout of the ball game for Grames. To retire Pernica, and that'll bring up Faltasek, the right fielder. Jacob 1 for 1 in the ball game. Singled in the bottom of the 3rd. Came around to score a run on the Brady Peters base hit. Faltasek takes a hack at this one, hits it into left field. Cloudis backs up, and he'll settle under it and make the catch for out number 3. F7 in the book ends the bottom of the 4th for the Eagles, but not before they get 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and 1 runner left on base. After 4 complete, 4-0 your score. Georgetown leads it over Elgin. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. To the top of the 5th inning. The Eagles lead it 4-0 over the Wildcats. The 9-1-2 hitters due up for the Wildcats here in the top of the 5th. The face-off against Leininger on for his 5th inning of work. The designated hitter, Fernando Ramirez, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Bunts it down the 3rd baseline. Peters is going to field it barehanded, throw across the diamond, but it's a bad throw and it goes up the first base line. Another error in the ball game, and that's going to allow Ramirez to slide into second base. Second error of the ball game for the Eagles. Allows the leadoff man to reach first and then advance on the same error as the throwing error from Peters. Gets over the head of Fluitt down the first baseline. Faltasek backs it up and throws it in. But now the Wildcats have the leadoff man aboard. Down at second base with no outs. Here in the top of the 5th, in steps the leadoff man, Luke Gomez. 0 for 1 in the ball game, a strikeout and a base on balls. Leininger from the stretch. The first pitch to Gomez. Gets past. Fernando Ramirez going to take off. Pernica throws down. Bam! Got him! No! My goodness. Pernica got it off the bounce from the padding. Throws down to third base. Peters puts the tag on. And the field umpire takes his time calling it and then signals safe. So 1-0 the count. Leininger's first wild pitch of the ball game allows Fernando Ramirez to move up to third base. And now a 1-0 count to Gomez. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count to Gomez. Gomez struck out looking in the first, walked in the third, and was left stranded at third base. The 1-1 pitch from Leininger. He's low and outside. Trickles away from Pernica, but Ramirez stays put at third base. 2-1 now the count to Gomez. Leininger comes set from the stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball out towards third. Peter fields it. He's going to throw home to Pernica. The throw home, and bam! Got him at home. What a play there. Brady Peters make up for the throw in there, and he does a great job there. He fields it, playing up towards the grass, and fields it and throws out Ramirez, trying to get home on the ground ball. So 5-2 on the putout. The second runner thrown out at home plate, trying to score for the Wildcats. That allows Gomez to reach base on the fielder's choice. But we'll take that swap out there on the 5-2 put out to retire the possible run and allow a man at first base. Well, one out now. In steps Austin Miller, the right fielder. The first pitch from Leininger misses just outside for ball one. Fernando Ramirez kind of got up and walked off gingerly. Hopefully he's all right. As he slid in at home plate. Nice tag there by Chance Pernica to record the out. Leininger comes set, the 1-0 pitch. The big breaker. Austin Miller kind of ducked down thinking it was coming at him, and the bender breaks over the plate for a called strike. 1-1 to count to Miller here with one out and a runner at first base. Great play there by Brady Peters to cut down another potential run for the Wildcats at home plate. The second of the ball game for the Eagle defense. Gomez leads off. Now dives back in on the throw over from Leininger safely at first. 1-1 to count to Austin Miller, the right fielder, with Justin Strong, the center fielder, on deck for the Wildcats here in the top of the fifth. 4-0 the score. Eagles lead it over the Wildcats. 1-1 count to Miller. Leininger comes set with a peek over at first base. Another throw off, and he's got him. What a play. Another pickoff. Austin Miller tagged out at first base. Another pickoff for Riley Leininger to retire the runner at first. 1-3 on the pickoff. Retires Gomez for out number two. And now Leininger back to the windup. 1-1 to count to Miller. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking pitch misses for ball two. 2-1 to count now to the right fielder with the bases empty and two outs here in the top half of the fifth. Leininger, the 2-1 pitch. And a ball slapped down the right field line. And it falls into the Bermuda Triangle of Eagle defenders. As Faltasek coming in from right field. Flew it out from first, and Talon Ball coming across from second base. And it falls foul. So Austin Miller stays alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the top of the fifth. Two outs. The base is empty. So Austin Miller will step back in from the right side. Leininger will look in, gets the sign from Pernica that he wants. From the windup, the 2-2 pitch. Just misses low and outside for ball 3, and now a full count to the right fielder, Austin Miller. 0 for 2 in the ballgame is Miller. He grounded out in the first, reached on an error in the third, and was left stranded at second base there in the third inning. Steps back in with a full count here in the fifth. The payoff pitch fouled off back to the screen. Miller stays alive in the at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Beautiful night of baseball. We're here inside the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. The 3-2 pitch, and it's fouled off back to the screen as Austin Miller battles here against Riley Leininger in the top of the fifth. Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow, your family, your future, our focus, proud sponsors of the SHN broadcast booth. Leininger from the windup, the payoff pitch, and I'm not sure I agree with it. Miller bailed out on a curveball thinking it was going to break over him, and it hit him in the head. He kind of leaned down into it. So he gets the base on balls, the hit by pitch. So the first batter hit by a pitch as it hit him in the helmet, but it was a slow breaking ball. So Miller reaches on a quality at bat there as he saw a lot of pitches, fouled a couple off. But now a 2-out base runner for the Wildcats. Here in the top of the fifth. Now Justin Strong, the center fielder, steps in for the left side. Takes the pitch high and inside, ball one. Strong 1 for 1 to the ball game. Singled in the first, walked in the third. Steps in here with the runner on first and 2 outs. Leininger look over at first base. The 1-0 pitch. On the outside part of the plate for a called strike. 1-1 now the count. A 2-out single by Strong in the first, but then he was picked off. He got in a rundown as Riley Leininger threw over to Fluitt, who threw to Hellman, who chased him down back towards first base and tagged him out. One of the 2 pickoffs by Leininger. The 1-1 pitch inside for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Justin Strong. But Nathan Lewis, the shortstop, on deck for the Wildcats. Here in the top of the fifth inning, 4-0. The Eagles lead it. 3 runs in the bottom of the third, 1 in the bottom of the fourth. Miller leads off first. Leininger comes set. The 2-1 pitch. Outside corner, called strike 2. 2-2 now the count to the center fielder, Justin Strong. Some action down in the Elgin Wildcat bullpen. So we'll see if Grames comes back out for his 5th inning of work in the bottom half of the inning. The runner off, the 2-2 pitch, low and inside. Throw down from Pernica, but Miller steals the base. Second stolen base of the night for the Wildcats. Has a runner in scoring position. And a full count now to Justin Strong. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. Leininger comes set from the stretch. The payoff pitch. This is inside, ball 4, a 2-out base on the balls. Has runners at first and second now for the Wildcats. 3rd walk of the ball game by Leininger.
Number 20, Nathan Lewis.
And now we'll get a visit from Coach Vieira. We'll take a timeout. More Eagle baseball in just a moment here on SHN. Pitching change here for your Georgetown Eagles. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. Brady Peters on in relief for the Eagles. He'll move from third base to the mound in relief of Riley Leininger. Leininger will move over to third base defensively for the Georgetown Eagles. Here in the top of the fifth with 2 outs. And runners on first and second. Nathan Lewis, the shortstop, due up to bat here against Peters in the top half of the 5th inning. Lewis 1 for 2 on the night, singled back in the second, and tried to score on a base hit by Alex Gomez. Took off from first base on the base hit by Gomez, but a great play by Devin Peterson to run it down. Hit his man, Eli Hellman, on the cutoff, and Hellman fired it home to Pernica, who tagged out Lewis for the first out of the inning, and that one was the first runner cut out down at home plate for the Wildcats tonight. The second, Ramirez, earlier here in this inning, on a great play by Brady Peters as he flagged the ground ball at third base, threw home to Chance Pernica for the put out at home. 2 runners cut down at home for the Wildcats, leaves us at a 4-0 score here in the ball game. So Brady Peters on in relief here with 2 outs and runners on first and second for the Eagles. Peters will work from the stretch, but Nathan Lewis will immediately call the timeout and step out of the batter's box. We'll get some stats on Peters here on the mound here in just a minute. Peters will look in. Now he'll step off, and he's going to have Pernica come out and discuss the signs as they get ready to work. In district play, Peters has pitched 3 innings. He appeared in 1 game. He faced 15 batters. He allowed 2 hits, 1 run. He's walked 3, struck out 4. He has a ERA of 0.00 as well, and a batting average against of 1.67 in district play. If you go back to on the season, Peters has pitched 15 2/3 innings, has an ERA of 4.021 and a batting average against of 258. So steps in here in district with a 0 ERA. Comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to Lewis. Misses just low for ball 1. Austin Miller down at second base. Justin Strong down at first. A hit by pitch of Miller and a walk to Strong. Has runners on first and second with 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch to Lewis is low and outside. Good job by Pernica to keep that one from getting to the backstop and allowing runners to advance. And now a 2-0 count to Nathan Lewis. Here for the Wildcats, the shortstop. Back in from the right side. Peters, the right-hander, comes set from the stretch. The 2-0 pitch. And a ball popped up on the right side of the infield, but it's going to curl back out of play over the first base dugout. And the count now 2 balls and 1 strike to Nathan Lewis. Texas flag and the American flag laying still out in center field as this night has calmed down. The 2-1 pitch to Lewis just misses outside for ball 3. 3-1 now the count. On the season, Peters has walked 9 batters, struck out 10. Allowed 17 hits in 79 batters faced. The 3-1 pitch gets away from Pernica, but it's ball 4. So that'll load the bases here full of Wildcats with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. First walk issued by Peters, 4th of the night for Eagle pitching. That'll bring up the catcher, Alex Gamez. Miller down to third, Strong up to second, Nathan Lewis down to first base. Gamez steps in, 1 for 2 on the night. A single back in the second, was left stranded at third base. And then a fly ball to center field for an out in the 4th inning. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. 0-1 now the count to Gamez with 2 outs and bases loaded here in the top of the 5th. Devin Peterson off to the right field side of center field. The 0-1 pitch from Peters. A foul ball sliced out of play down the first baseline. And now Brady Peters ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes to the catcher, Alex Gamez. Another bases loaded jam here for the Eagles. They got out of the first one back in inning number 3. Peters comes set. The 0-2 pitch. And a foul ball back to the screen. And Gamez stays alive. Oh, no balls and 2 strikes here in this at-bat against Brady Peters, facing his second batter of the night on a relief of Riley Leiniger after 4 2/3 innings by Leiniger. Peters gets the sign and comes set from the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Pernica, and it's all the way over towards the first base dugout. And that'll allow the runner to advance to first base. Even with the bases loaded with 2 outs, he got to make the out, but that one got away from Pernica. So the wild pitch on the strikeout recorded for Peters, but the out not recorded. Allows Gamez to reach first base. The first run of the night is in for the Wildcats as Miller scores from third base. Strong up to second, Lewis up to third. Lewis up to second, and Alex Gamez down to first base. In steps Jackson Cloudis as number 18, Omar Palacios, runs at first base for the catcher Gamez. The 1-0 pitch to Cloudis. Ground ball out towards first. Fluitt will field it, and he'll take it 3 unassisted to record the out. And the Eagles get out of the inning with no more damage done. The Wildcats get 1 run in the top of the 5th, and they do it with no hits, 1 error, and leave the bases loaded. After 4.5 innings, 4-1 your score. Georgetown leads it over Elgin. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. As we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, the Wildcats will go to their bullpen. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. The Wildcats go to the bullpen, and they bring in the first baseman, Joaquin Rodriguez, to pitch in relief of Jack Grames. Grames, the pitcher for the Wildcats through 4 innings, goes to first base defensively for the Wildcats. Back in here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com, proud sponsor of the SHN broadcast booth as we go to inning number 5. The defense otherwise set for the Wildcats. No changes there. Grames and Rodriguez switch positions, and Rodriguez will come on here in the bottom of the 5th. He'll face off against the 9-1 and 2 hitters. First pitch is low and outside. Correction. He will face off against the 1, 2, and 3 hitters as Faltasek flew out to end the bottom of the 4th. Peterson's first pitch is outside for a ball. 1-0 the count to Devin Peterson, the center fielder. The 1-0 pitch from Rodriguez misses low and outside. Ball 2. Peterson 1 for 2 on the night. Grounded out in the first, singled and scored a run in the 3rd. He scored on the RBI base hit, the 2 RBI base hit by Brady Peters. The 2-0 pitch from Rodriguez is in there for a called strike. 2-1 now the count to the center fielder, Devin Peterson. Eli Hellman, Brady Peters also due up here in the bottom half of the 5th inning for your Eagles. Rodriguez gets the sign from Gamez from the windup. The 2-1 pitch. Way outside, ball 3. Now Peterson ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Peterson back in, ready to go. Rodriguez from the windup. The 3-1 pitch. Way outside, ball 4. A leadoff walk has the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 5th for the Eagles. Through 4.5 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Wildcats. 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Eagles. And now the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the fifth. And now the senior shortstop, Eli Hellman, will step in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Grounded out in the first, walked and scored a run in the third inning. Third baseman Barron plays up about 5 steps on the grass for the Wildcats. Grames will hold on at Peterson at first base. Joaquin Rodriguez, the runner, off and with the pitch, and Peterson easily still second base. The second stolen base of the night for Eagle base runners. Hellman with the only other stolen base on the night. And now Peterson in scoring position with no outs here in the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 count to Eli Hellman. From Rodriguez. Rodriguez works from the first base side of the rubber. The 1-0 pitch. Outside corner called strike one. Generous spot there on the outside corner. It seems to be widening a little bit here at home plate as we get into the later innings. And now 1-1 to count to Eli Hellman. Hellman back in from the right side, ready to go. Rodriguez will come set from the stretch. A look back at second. The 1-1 pitch. Hellman a swing and a miss. Strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Eli Hellman, the senior shortstop for your Eagles, with Brady Peters on deck for the Eagles. Rodriguez, a long look in. He'll get the sign and come set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Peterson off running. Hellman will foul it off back to the screen. Stay alive in the bat, and Peterson will head back to second base. He was off and running on the pitch from Joaquin Rodriguez. Hellman back ready to go. Rodriguez, a long look in, and now he'll come set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Hellman a swing and a miss, strike three. And Eli strikes out for the first out in the inning here in the bottom of the fifth. First strikeout of the ball game for Rodriguez. Third of the night for Elgin pitching. And that'll bring up Brady Peters, who's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Ground out in the first. And had a 2 RBI single in the third. Left stranded at second base in that inning. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at second base in Devin Peterson. Rodriguez a look back at second. Peterson off with the pitch, and he'll easily steal third base as the pitch got popped out of the glove of Gamez. And now Peterson just 90 feet away after 2 consecutive stolen bases. Has him down at third base with 1 out. The first pitch to Peters was low and for ball 1, so now 1-0 the count to Brady Peters. Riley Leininger on deck for your Eagles here in the bottom of the fifth with 1 out and a runner at third. Short visit from Gamez to Rodriguez on the mound now, ready to go. Rodriguez comes set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch to Peters. Low and outside, ball 2. Brady Peters with 6 RBIs now. Make it 8 now in district play. The 2-0 pitch catches the outside corner for a called strike. 2-1 the count. 8 RBIs on the season in district play for Peters. An opportunity here with 1 out and a runner at third base for another one. The infield. Shallow infield here. The 2-1 pitch way outside, ball 3. 3-1 count now to senior Brady Peters. He looks for another opportunity for another RBI. 2 RBIs on the night on a beautiful 2 RBI single back in inning number 3. To score, Falta second, Peterson. The 3-1 pitch misses low and outside, ball 4. A 1-out walk has runners at the corners for the Eagles. Only the second walk issued by Wildcat pitchers tonight. And now that'll bring Coach Bourgeois out to visit with Rodriguez in the infield for the Wildcats. Quick timeout. Back with more Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Coach Bourgeois of the Elgin Wildcats wastes no time as he will go back to the bullpen. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. EdwardJones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more information. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. The Elgin Wildcats go to the bullpen once again here in the 5th inning, and they'll bring in number 28, Malachi Hibbs, on in relief of Joaquin Rodriguez. Rodriguez faces 3 batters, strikes out 1, walks 2, throws 15 pitches, and he will leave the ball game here in the bottom of the 5th as Grames will stay at first base. Here inside the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS number 464148. And now we get set to go with Malachi Hibbs. He will face off against Riley Leiniger. The 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Runners on first and third for the Eagles. Devin Patterson led off the inning with a base on balls. He walked, stole second, stole third base. And then Eli Hellman struck out swinging for out number 1. And then Brady Peters down at first base after a walk by Rodriguez. Hibbs from the stretch. The old yo-yo as he steps off towards third, turns to first, but both runners return to the backs. Now Hibbs comes set to face off against the left-handed hitting Leiniger. The first pitch, Peters off running. The throw down to second base, cut off by the second baseman. And here comes Peterson, and he's going to slide in, but he'll be thrown out. The cutoff there by the second baseman, Gamez, catches Peterson at home on the double steal attempt. So that'll be 2-4-2 on the caught stealing. Peters slides into second base safely, but Peterson cut out at home on the cutoff throw by Gomez. Now 2 outs in the inning. First pitch was a ball to Leiniger, 1-0 the count. Hibbs' second pitch is in the dirt or the field turf. 4-2, 2-0 the count now to Riley Leiniger. Peters down at second base. On the stolen base with 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 5th. Leiniger back ready. Hibbs comes set. Look back at second base. The 2-0 pitch. And it's in the top half of the zone for a called strike. 2-1 now the count. Riley Leiniger. Leiniger back in from the left side, ready to go. Hibbs a long look in. He'll get the sign from Gamez and come set from the stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Leiniger takes it. The breaking pitch catches the inside corner for strike 2. 2-2 now the count to the left-handed hitting Riley Leiniger. Leiniger 0 for 2 in the night, but an RBI on his last at-bat as he hit a ground ball to Rodriguez at first base. That scored Eli Hellman from third base. The 2-2 pitch. Leiniger fouls it off. Back out of play down the third baseline. Stays alive in the at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Eagles have a 4-1 lead over the Wildcats. Peters leads off second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here to Leiniger. Hibbs comes set to look at second base. The 2-2 pitch. Low and inside, ball 3. Now a full count to Riley Leiniger. Here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, Leiniger now at third base. Pitch 4 2/3 innings for the Eagles here in the ball game. Steps back in. Hibbs a look at second. The payoff pitch. Just missed inside. A 2-out walk issued to Leiniger. As runners now at first and second base with 2 outs. The 4th walk of the night by Elgin pitchers. The first for Hibbs. And that'll bring up Andrew Nations. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. A line out in the second and a strikeout swinging in the third. Nation steps in here. Nations hitting 167 in district play. Steps in with 2 outs and runners on first and second from the left side. The first pitch from Hibbs. And Nations drives it to right field. Is it going to get down? And it does, all the way to the corner. That'll score Peters from second. Leininger around third, and he'll be held up there. An RBI double for Andrew Nations. What a job there by the left fielder as he drives the first pitch he sees from Hibbs down the right field line. Good job there by the right fielder Miller to cut it off before it got to the wall to hold the next 2 guys on base. Leininger held up by Coach Vieira at the last second, but not before an RBI double for Andrew Nations. All with 2 outs here in the inning for the Eagles, and now they have a 5-1 lead. Leininger down at third. Nations up to second base, and in steps Talon Ball. He's 2 for 2 on the night, 2 singles. Scored a run. Steps in here with runners on second and third with 2 outs. The first pitch. And Talon Ball has to duck under that one. It's up and in. Ball 1 to Talon, the second baseman. Ball back in from the right side. Hibbs comes set. The 1-0 pitch. On the inside corner, called strike 1. 1-1 the count now to Talon Ball with Nations down at second base. Leininger down at third. Hibbs comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Up and in. Ball 2. 2-1 the count now. To Talon. David Flewitt, the first baseman, waits on deck. Should Ball be able to extend the inning? Hibbs a look in and gets the sign from Games. Comes set from the stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Talon Ball takes it on the outside corner for a called strike. 2-2 count now to Talon Ball with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Runners on second and third for the Eagles. 1 run across in the 5th has the lead at 5-1 for Georgetown. Hibbs comes set from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. And it misses. Ball 3, and now a full count. A late break there on the 2-2 curveball. And now a full count to the second baseman, Talon Ball. Ball back in from the right side. Hibbs comes set. The payoff pitch. Talon Ball pops it back out of play. Stays alive in the at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Talon back in from the right side, ready to go. Hibbs comes set. The payoff pitch. Ball sends it into left field. A high fly ball. Cloudus backs up. Now ranges to his right. And he'll make the catch for out number 3. But not before the Eagles put up 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and 2 runners left on base. After 5 complete innings, 5-1 your score. Georgetown leads it over Elgin. More Eagle baseball here in a moment on SHN. Back here as we go to the top of the 6th here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. Visit borrowfrommorrow.com. The Wildcats come up in the 6th inning, trailing by 4, 5-1. Brady Peters on in his second inning of work and relief. First pitch to the left-handed hitting Justin Strong on the outside corner for a called strike. Correction, Jack Grames, number 3, not number 5. The 0-1 pitch from Peters, a swing and a miss, strike 2. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up here for the Wildcats. Grames leads it off from the left side. Peters from the windup. The 0-2 pitch to Grames. Outside corner just misses for ball 1. Nice miss there. 1-2 now the count to Jack Grames. Peters gets the sign from Pernica. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off back to the screen. 1-2 still the count to the first baseman. Jack Grames. Malachi Hibbs, the pitcher now for the Wildcats, on deck in the number 8 slot for the Wildcats. The 1-2 pitch. Outside corner called strike 3. Grames down on strike for the first out of the inning. Second strikeout of the ball game for Brady Peters. And that'll bring up Malachi Hibbs.
Next up, number 28, Malachi Hibbs.
Hibbs up to bat for his first time in the ball game. First pitch from Peters, a swing and a miss, strike 1. 0-1 the count to Malachi Hibbs. Hibbs came on in relief with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. The 0-1 pitch, breaking pitch, just misses up and in for ball 1. 1-1 now the count to Hibbs. The designated hitter, Fernando Ramirez, up next for the Wildcats. The 1-1 pitch fouled off back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count to Hibbs. 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning for the Wildcats. Brady Peters gets the sign. The 1-2 pitch. And a foul ball back behind home plate as Hibbs stays alive in the at-bat. 1-2 the count. 1 out and the base is empty here in the top half of the 6th for Elgin. Hibbs back in, ready to go. Peters gets the sign. The 1-2 pitch. Blows it by him. Strike 3 called. Second strikeout in a row for Brady Peters. Retires the first 2 hitters here in the top of the 6th for the Wildcats. Third strikeout of the night for Peters. 7th of the night for Eagle pitching. And Fernando Ramirez will step in, the designated hitter in the 9 slot. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. A ground out in the 3rd. Reached on an error in the 5th. First pitch from Peters in there for a called strike. Ramirez reached on the error on his bunt down the 3rd baseline. Got to 2nd base. Moved up to 3rd on the wild pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And then a ground ball hit by Gomez. Was snagged by Peters down at 3rd base. He threw home to Pernica to tag out Ramirez, trying to score for the out. A swing and a miss, and Peters comes in and strikes out the side. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. The Wildcats are down here in the top of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. After 5.5 innings, the Eagles lead it 5-1 over the Elgin Wildcats. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, back here in the SHN broadcast booth. Brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com, proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Baseball. And the Eagles will bring up to the plate the 7, 8, 9 hitters, David Fluitt, Chance Pernica, Jacob Faltasek due up as they face off against Malachi Hibbs. Fluitt in from the left side, the first pitch from Hibbs. Swinging ground ball down the first baseline, but Grames is going to grab it in foul territory. So they count no balls and 1 strike to David Fluitt here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 0 for 2 on the night is Fluitt. He flew out to left field back in the 2nd inning, flew out to center field in the 4th. Leads things off for the Eagles here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Eagles have a 5-run lead. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Wildcats. 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Eagles. The 0-1 pitch sliced. Back foul by Fluitt. 0-2 now the count to the sophomore first baseman, David Fluitt. Fluitt got the win on the mound on Tuesday night in Elgin. Steps back in here. 0-2 the count. Hibbs from the windup. The 0-2 pitch. Ground ball down the third baseline, and it'll stay in foul territory. So Fluitt stays alive in the at-bat. 0-2. 70 pitches through 4 innings for the starter, Grames. He gave up five hits, 4 runs, struck out 2, walked 1, had 2 wild pitches. Malachi Hibbs from the windup. The 0-2 pitch to Fluitt. The breaking pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Fluitt down for the first out of the inning. First strikeout of the night for Hibbs. In the 5th inning, Joaquin Rodriguez came in from first base to pitch in relief for the Wildcats. He faced 3 batters, walked 1, struck out 1, walked another, and then got removed from the ball game for Malachi Hibbs to come into relief. Rodriguez only threw 15 pitches. First pitch to Pernica is way outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Chance Pernica, who's 0 for 2 in the ball game here tonight. Pop out to the shortstop in foul territory. Great hustle play by Nathan Lewis in the 3rd inning. Struck out looking in the 4th. The 1-0 pitch from Hibbs. And swing and a miss, strike 1. 1-1 the count now to Chance Pernica. And then Malachi Hibbs came on to relief in the 5th inning. Walked 1, allowed an RBI double by Andrew Nations, and then got a flyout by Talon Ball to end the inning. Now back on for his 2nd inning work. The 1-1 pitch did not feel good to the catcher, Games. He kind of spread his right leg out. And that one was low and outside in the turf and bounced off his foot. Home plate umpire walks the ball out to Hibbs. 2-1 the count now to Pernica. Games took that one on the side of the foot. Now he's ready to go back behind home plate. 2-1 the count to Pernica. From the windup is Hibbs, the 2-1 pitch. Outside ball 3, 3-1 the count now to the catcher, Chance Pernica. Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder, on deck for your Eagles. The 3-1 pitch from Hibbs. And Pernica pops it up left side of the infield. Third baseman, Barron, calls for it and makes the catch. For out number 2, P5 in the book. To retire Pernica, and that'll bring up Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Singled and scored a run in the 3rd. Flew out to the left fielder in the 4th. Steps in here with the bases empty and 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th for your Eagles. Hibbs in the windup. Gets the sign. First pitch to Faltasek. Breaking pitch across the outside part of the plate for a called strike. 0-1 the count. And 1 the count to Jacob Faltasek, your right fielder. Back in from the right side, ready to go. Hibbs gets the sign. The 0-1 pitch. A swing and a miss. 0-2 now the count. To Jacob Faltasek. Hibbs gets the sign from Games. The 0-2 pitch. And that hits Faltasek in the back. So he'll reach base on an 0-2 count on the hit by pitch. First batter hit by an Elgin Wildcat pitcher tonight. And not surprisingly, for an Eagle linebacker, one of the starting linebackers on the playoff Eagle football team that kind of just wore that one and took off down to first base like nothing ever happened. Not surprising from that young man. One of the top tacklers for the Eagle foot defense this year. So Faltasek will lead off first base with 2 outs, and Devin Peterson will step in. He's 1 for 2 on the night. Hibbs back to the stretch. The first pitch to Peterson. Misses low and inside, ball 1. Hibbs a long look in. Now will come set. Faltasek leads off first. Hibbs will throw over to Grames, but Faltasek dives back in safely at first base. 1 ball, no strikes to Devin Peterson, the center fielder. A ground out in the first, a single, and scored a run in the third. Walked and then was cut down at home in the 5th inning. Hibbs comes set. The 1-0 pitch. Peterson will send it into right field. Will it get down? Nope, it'll carry just far enough for Austin Miller to come in and grab it for out number 3. L9 in the book to record the final out of the inning. And the Eagles are down here in the bottom of the 6th. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 6 complete innings, 5-1, the Georgetown Eagles lead the Elgin Wildcats here in District 23 baseball. Quick timeout, back with more Eagle baseball here in just a moment. Go to the top of the 7th inning. The Eagles trying to close things out here to move to 6-0 in district. And on the mound in his 3rd inning of work is Brady Peters. A couple of people that might be watching back home tonight. Don and April Peters, grandparents of Brady Peters. Give a special shout out to the Peters as they watch in as Brady rocking and rolling on the mound tonight. Here in relief for your Georgetown Eagles. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Luke Gomez will lead it off for the Wildcats. Peters from the windup. First pitch. Ground ball to Leininger at third base. He comes up, fires across the diamond in time for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. 5-3 in the book to record the out.
Next up, right fielder, number 21, Austin Miller.
That'll bring up Austin Miller, the right fielder. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. A ground out in the first, reaching on an error in the third. Was hit by a pitch and scored the only run of the ball game for the Wildcats. Back in inning number 5. Steps in here with 1 out, the base is empty. The Wildcats down to their final 2 outs. First pitch swinging, sends it over the head of second baseman Ball into right center field. Cut off by Peterson. He'll come up firing to second base as Miller takes off. And Miller will be in there with a 1 out double. First hit of the ball game surrendered by Brady Peters on in relief.
Next up for the Wildcats, center fielder, number 5, Justin Strong.
And that'll bring up Justin Strong, the center fielder. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. He's been walked twice, singled back in the first, was then picked off by Leininger. Peters back to the stretch now. A look back at second base. The first pitch will come after a spin towards second base. Miller steps back on the bag. Fifth hit of the night for the Wildcats. The first pitch, Justin Strong swinging. Fouls it off back to the screen. 4 strike 1, 0-1 to count. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Miller will lead off second base. Peters comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards second base. Talon ball ranges to his right. Tries to flip it to his hand to make the throw. And it pops out of his glove. So that'll be the 3rd error of the ball game on the Eagle defense. E4 allows Justin Strong to reach base. That allows Miller to get to third base on the error. So now with one out, runners on the corners, and that'll bring up Nathan Lewis, the shortstop. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. A single in the second was cut down at home, trying to get home on a hit by Gamez. Grounded out in the third and walked in the fifth. Peters comes set from the stretch. Pickoff attempt over to first base. Strong dives back in safely there. Miller at third base. Strong at first base. One out here in the top of the seventh. The Wildcats trying to claw back into this one. The yo-yo in effect. Both runners back to the backs quickly for the Wildcats. No throw by Peters. Now everyone resets. Lewis back in from the right side. Peters a look in for the sign from Pernica. Brady will come set from the stretch. First pitch to Lewis. The breaking pitch down on the turf. 4-1. Good block there by Pernica to keep it in front of him. The runners stay put. 1-0 the count to Nathan Lewis. Catcher Alex Gamma is on deck. For the Wildcats. The 1-0 pitch, the runner off from first, a swing and a miss. The fake throw down, and they allow the runner to advance to second base to keep Miller down at third. So the stolen base there by Justin Strong does not draw a throw. Hard to say that for some reason. Does not draw a throw. Third stolen base of the night for Wildcat runners. And now a 1-1 count to Lewis. The 1-1 pitch fouled off back to the backstop for strike two. 1-2 now the count to Nathan Lewis with one out here in the top of the seventh. Stolen base by Strong. It keeps the Wildcats out of the double play. Peters comes set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. And it's up high and inside as Lewis bails out to avoid being hit by that fastball. And now 2-2 the count to Nathan Lewis, the shortstop. He wanted nothing to do with that fastball upside the dome. And now the 2-2 pitch from Brady Peters. The breaking pitch misses just low for ball three, and now a full count to Nathan Lewis. First base open here for the Wildcats with one out in the top of the seventh. Peters comes set from the stretch. The payoff pitch misses high, ball four, and a one-out walk has loaded the bases full of Wildcats. Second walk issued by Peters.
Next up for the Wildcats.
That'll bring up the pitcher, or the catcher, Alex Gamez. Gamez steps back in from the right side, ready to go here against Brady Peters. The first pitch to Gamez, the breaking pitch. Catches the inside corner, called strike. Nice pitch there by Brady Peters. 0-1 to count. Gamez 1 for 3 on the night. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Hellman's going to field it. Step on second. Throw to first in time. 5-3 double play. Gets the Eagles out of the inning. And that's the ball game. Brady Peters does not surrender a run on in relief. What a job there as Eli Hellman fields the ground ball up the middle. Steps on second base to retire Lewis. And then throws Gamez out at first base for the double play. 6.5 innings complete. Your Eagles can save the offense for the next game as they had moved to 11-10-1 on the year and 6-0 in district play. The Wildcats fall to 8-11-1 on the year and 3-3 in district play. So your Eagles remain on top of the district, undefeated in first place, and they'll enjoy that through the weekend and come back to work next week, where they will face off Tuesday night here at home against the Hendrickson Hawks. Wednesday night, we'll be back at the Golden Rule for the coaches show. And then Thursday night, on because of Good Friday, we'll be on the road to take on the Hendrickson Hawks live at Hendrickson High School. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll visit with Coach Vieira, and we'll wrap it up from the field. The Eagles are victorious over the Elgin Wildcats 5-1 here in District 23 play. Quick timeout. More in just a moment on SHN. Back here live at Eagle Field on elementary night. Just back to the basics. Another win for this Eagle team, 6-0 in district play. Some things you would like to change. We were chatting about that. Some errors there defensively, but some pickup plays that this defense made to keep the Wildcats from scoring any more runs, and a victory for your Eagle baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, we make 3 errors early and end up giving extra bases that we don't necessarily need to, but the benefit of that, or the good thing of that, is our guys are able to make plays after that to not allow those mistakes to really hurt us. So aside from the 1 inning with the hit by pitch, a couple walks, and then the punch out where the ball squirts away, I mean, aside from that, the guys played pretty well tonight. We get a great start from Ryan Leininger, being able to pound the box, fill it up for us, and get the ball put in play, then timely hitting there.
Brady Peters comes in on relief, still locked in, is still a 0 ERA through district play. Another arm out of this bullpen that seems to continue to show up during this district run of 6 games straight. He comes in tonight, has a good second inning in relief, strikes out the side, comes in a little trouble here in the last inning, but then close it out with a good defensive play by Eli Hellman on that double play. How important is it that this bullpen continues to come in and relieve these starters and lock things down for this team?
Yeah, as we progress through the season, one of the biggest things is our bullpen's got to be able to come in and attack the strike zone, be able to get ground balls and be able to get the out. So we have a ton of trust in guys like Brady Peters to be able to handle the ball, say go get them. Just like we were talking about last night, we attack the strike zone, good things happen, and especially when the defense is playing clean.
Early in the ball game, Coach Bourgeois trying to push some runs in, trying to get up early. Yep. Nathan Lewis takes off from first base. Talk about that play made by Devin Peterson. One, to chase that ball down, that base hit down, and then the beautiful relay from him to Hellman to Chance for Nick to cut that run down early. How does that keep your team locked in, ready to go, knowing, hey, the defense is there, it's time for offense to produce?
Yeah, he gets the big hit. Devin does a great job of tracking it down, cutting it down, and then getting the ball back into the relay man and getting it on target to allow Eli to then be able to transition the ball to home plate. And cut it down, and you got a chance for Nick at the plate, playing prison guard, not letting anybody out. So it's quality catch play at its finest. So it's always fun when that happens, and then you're able to cut down a run early when you know that they're trying to press across a couple of runs as quick as they can. So it sets tone for the defense early, and then obviously it stymies what they're trying to accomplish.
6-0 in district, lead the district going into next week. Another battle here. Hendrickson Hawks will play them at home on Tuesday, but a quick week next week due to Good Friday and Easter weekend next weekend. Yep. A Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday week for us as we play at home on Tuesday. The coaches show Wednesday, yep. Thursday on the road at Hendrickson. What does this team do this weekend? Get a break before we come back and a busy week next week? What do you got going?
Yeah, so tomorrow we got our Challenger game tomorrow morning with our special needs kids with Exceptional Georgetown Alliance. So we're going to be out here tomorrow morning serving those kids and hanging out with them, enjoying the time that we get with those guys. A little workout on Saturday, and then turn it into Quality Monday, and then turn this thing back around for our first Tuesday home game against Quality Hendrickson Club. I'm excited to have those guys over and see how our guys respond and how we get to compete.
Congrats, Coach. 6-0 in district play. See you next week. The Georgetown Eagles stay in charge of District 23 as they lead at 6-0 in district play. 6 straight wins for the Eagles as they look to next week to take on a tough Hendrickson Hawks team. Back here live Tuesday night, we'll have that game with the Hendrickson Hawks. Wednesday night, join us at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street for the Coaches Show with Coach Pierre and a couple of Eagle players. And then Thursday night, we'll be back on the road to take on the Hendrickson Hawks over at Pflugerville. Thanks for joining us tonight. Your Eagles victorious 5-1 over the Elgin Wildcats. Enjoy your weekend, and remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Have a good weekend.